This is the final piece of content that I will ever make about March for Australia, because I need to address some of these wild fucking claims that keep coming up in these spaces. Let's put this shit to bed. At some point, rational Australians have to be saying, why haven't you dumped the fucking screenshots you keep talking about? You keep saying this.
We did not make anything fall apart, okay? I've got fucking messages that I could fucking post on social media right now if I was really that fucking petty, that will actually show you that we tried for 2 months to make it work. We had phone calls with Scott where he spoke down to us and got nasty and fucking told us how many people were trying to steal MFA. We had freaking multiple calls with Bender where Bender lied to us and fucking twisted the truth.
Who is the national organisation? And this was always the problem that Queensland had. We were told by multiple different people that they owned this thing. They owned the March for Australia.
He's widely known online as Ospil. He's also known as the leader of the March for Australia.
September 14, I advised Ospil via message, these are the messages, these are the screenshots, via message, that I was prepared to put $100,000 forward to provide security and resources for every capital city in Australia for March for Australia. That's how serious and committed I was about the cause. We only did what I told him we were going to do on September 14. So when they all had a fucking flip out after October 19th, they were told on September 14th. And then it turns out that Beck and Jesse said, we own this thing, it belongs to us. But I already had Ospil telling me that it belonged to him. And George, who the fuck is George, saying that this thing belonged to him and Ospil. Imagine being in Queensland's position where we'd pulled off 2 great events and still having no idea who owned the fucking thing. Imagine my surprise when I find out that apparently we've committed some act of treason when I'd notified Ospil 6 weeks before. I've said this before. The opaque nature of the leadership was always a problem. And the opaque nature of that leadership might not have been so much of a problem if the NSN didn't keep dropping shit like this, where they were telling us what was going to happen, who was going to speak, what they were going to be involved in, when they weren't going to be involved in it, and what they were lining up for Australia Day on January 26th. Because I don't believe that Beck and Jesse run this thing or own March for Australia. And I don't believe Hugo and George do either. The NSN pull the strings on this thing, mate. While everyone was saying that we cut for politicians in Queensland, let's not forget this message that I got from Ospil telling me that any political party who supported the end of mass immigration was welcome to speak at these events. Read it carefully, folks. Nazis have failed everywhere it's fucking tried. Fascism doesn't fucking work. And if you think Australians are going to drive on that shit, especially us Gen Xers, mate, not a fucking chance. If you've got the screenshots, Beck, dump the fucking things. Stop fucking pretending that you've got some kind of fucking magic proof on us. Here's my screenshots. September 14th. September 14th, read it. On November the 4th, I had a phone conversation with Ospil and George about the website and everything we'd done here. They knew exactly what we'd done because I told them on September 14. And then they released a statement on November the 5th and tried to implode the whole thing. Any NSN guys running this thing, fellas?
What do you mean?
Well, are they advising, consulting? Are they pulling the strings anywhere at all?
What I'll say to you is they're not pulling strings, but there are communication channels that exist.
So does communication channels extend to being the organisers for the Melbourne August 31 event?
And then on Thomas Sewell, I think he was released like 2 days ago on bail. I forget the specific question regarding him, but in Melbourne, him and his guys literally led like the march. We actually had no organizer for Melbourne. The one we did have dropped out, and this guy Tom and his guys, like on the day, just sort of rocked up and took control of it.
Hang on, We were told that Ozpil was the organiser of the August 31 event in Melbourne, which is why he turned up and spoke. But according to Ozpil, in that keynote speech, Tom Sewell ended up turning up on the day and leading the event. And once we got wind of the communication channels, being the Telegram chat, where we started seeing things like this coming through, as well as hundreds of other messages where, you know, communication channel basically meant getting rid of Queensland and putting in someone else who was NSN friendly, I guess the deal was done. Well, we decided that we could work with date-wise. There's no fucking way that I was going to let my reputation, and there's no way the rest of the Queensland team were going to let their reputations be tarnished by a bunch of fucking Hitler-loving fuckheads. Anyway, this one's a bit spicy. Put that in your crack pipe and smoke it. You don't believe that we can kick out all the first and second generation immigrants that have already got citizenship papers here. You can't kick them out because legally we made them citizens. The difference between us and them is they want to deport all the brown people. And I guess in a perfect world with a magic button, you'd probably go back in time and not let it happen in the first place, potentially.
Oh, great Scott!
But you can't, because the toothpaste is out of the fucking tube, you retards. So you've got to live with what you got. So yes, there are two types of Australians. Ethnically, the bloodline is Anglo-Saxon, Anglo-Celtic, and came from the old mother country, of which I'm a descendant. And then you've got your citizens. And unfortunately, you can't deport citizens, no matter how hard the fucking brown shirts and the black shirts try to make that happen. Of course, I'd be all happy to deport first-generation criminal migrants. Plus, I would never allow another single person to get a citizenship in this country ever again. I would take the UAE approach, where no one becomes a citizen of the UAE. You are not allowed to get a UAE citizenship. You can get a residency to work there. That's all you can get, and that's the way it should be here. Australia is a golden fucking ticket. You are born into a beautiful legacy. There's no way we should let anyone have that shit for free. You got to live with what you got. Deport 2.9 million temporary visa holders. Get control of your borders. Adjust the economy. Give kids an opportunity. Gen X is going to lead the way. I'll see you on January 26th.